YouTube, and welcome back to Allie's Wonderland Creations. I am Alice Seraphin, and I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the United States. I know my whiteboard's a little messy, but I am doing Christmas in July with Perched in a Tree in the Aspen dies. They think the Aspen dies were a free celebration. Perched in a Tree was in a mini. It has been brought back to the new annual catalog, so I am using it, of course. This is video number 3 of my Saturday videos, and it will not be on the 18th. Let's see what day that actually will be on, huh? That might have helped. July 8th. This is July 15th. Let me put that so I know when I go to load it up. July 15th. Woohoo! So, this is a note card. We will use a punch board, and it's kind of a fun fold as it has a what I call a double opening card. Hopefully my bird comes out a little better. I did some stuff on top of other stuff. There's a part I would like to be a little lighter. So let me show you, and I'm also going to show you what I did to my envelope. It would not fit in the envelope. So I had to rip my envelope to get it out. Plus, I had stamped the bird upside down when I was playing around. But I had to show you guys. That's what happens sometimes. So I needed to make my envelope bigger. That means I could not use one of the pre-purchased envelopes for this note card. So I made one with the envelope punch board. And I realize now I did not do those measurements. So I used printer paper that is 7.5 by 7 1/2, and I started it. I know I wrote it down on my scratch paper here. I added 1/4 inch, so I start at 3 3/8 on my envelope punch board. So envelope. Okay, so let's go over what you're going to need. Show you the card first or show you what you're going to need? I'm going to show you what you're going to need. So you're going to need 2, let's see, this, like I said, this is a double opening card. So you're going to need 2 basic white card bases that are 7 by 5 scored at 3.5. That's those. You are going to need 3 pieces of basic white, 2 3/4 by 4 1/4. You're going to need 3 pieces of cherry cobbler. I'm using 2, and it says 3 pieces of cherry cobbler, DSP or cardstock. So I have 2 pieces of cherry cobbler and 1 piece of cardstock. That is for my the inside piece. So those need to measure at 3 by 4 1/4. Then you will need I had to change that. 2 pieces of garden green cardstock at 3.5 by 5. And you will need 1 that is 3 3/8 by 4 7/8. It needed to be that 1/8 of an inch smaller to fit better on the inside of our card. So I'm going to clip those down. You will need at least a 3 by 3 inch piece for the little birdie, and I die cut my little birdie out already. Inks, Early Espresso, Cajun Craze. Let's see. There's Early Espresso, Cajun Craze, Misty Moonlight, Garden Green, some sponge daubers, a blending pen, the Stampin' Write Early Espresso marker. Now let's show you the card. Here is my envelope because I just finished it. But my card is a little dark in here and I want it lighter. So I open it up, wishing you joy and peace. I love these branches, and I blended that in with the blender pen after I stamped it. And that is for you to write in there. So you could do photos here. This is a beautiful little Christmas card. Not crazy about the bling, so on this one, of course, we'll use some Stampin' Up! Bling, but I just wanted to get an idea of what I was doing. Anything else to add? Let's go ahead and let's do, this is my scratch paper. We're going to start with our envelope. All right, because I already have it ready, and it could could use a little tweaking. It could be a little smaller, but I am not overly worried about it. I wanted plenty of room to put my card in there since I got it stuck in the last envelope. So my card base size is 3.5 by 5, so I added 1/4 of an inch to the measurement, and down here for a 3.5 by 5 inch piece, it said to cut a piece of paper 7.25 by 7.25. Since I added 1/4 of an inch, I needed my piece of paper to be 7.5 by 7.5. My score line then was 3 1/8, and I needed to add 1/4 of an inch up to that. So that's how I got my 3 3/8. Start by punching and scoring. We're going to do it twice this time, normally 3 times, but I think twice will suffice. So we only have to find that first measurement. After that, you can ignore everything, because all you're doing is where this is here, where we're scoring here, we're going to line that up with that little piece here that sticks out, that protrudes out there. All right, so I am going to do 3. I don't know why. I don't like forcing it, but 3 tends to score it better, in my humble opinion. So punch, and I'm making sure that my bone folder creasing tool goes all the way up against the inside. And 3, and we'll see if the others are going to be okay here in a second. I don't need any of this anymore. I can put that well on the side. And being that this is just printer paper, it really doesn't need a bone folder. You can use your nail. Just go over 3 sides. Yikes. My stuff is falling off. And then I'm going to bring the glue in. You can do this 2 ways. The easiest way is here and right there. That way there's nothing at the tip of your envelope. And then you have your envelope. And this, of course, is the flap, the fold part. And we'll check our card again to make sure that it can get in its little envelope. Let's try it from the side that doesn't open. That might help. It is kind of thick, but my little tail feather came out there. So there. And I know there's this much at the top. I could have adjusted for it, but I'm okay with it. I didn't want it to be so tight in there like I did with my first one, and I can't get it out. That would not have worked. So there is our envelope for our card. And now I'm going to set that aside. And like I said, this did not go over. So let's get started with what we're going to do. We're going to score. We already scored our card bases. Let's get them folded so I can put our elements together on it. There's one. All right. So these now are going to get glued together like so. Open one the other way, one the opposite, and simply kiss them together. Now, I'm not going to put a whole bunch of glue on that side. I'm going to come in about 1/4 of an inch away from that center fold. Because I just don't want glue seeping out the end. So I'm bringing it in like so, making sure it will all fold on itself, and it does. So next we can add our center piece on the inside of our card. That's the piece that is that 1/8 of an inch shorter than everything else. So we can glue it down, and I already had the cherry cobbler ready for this. And I hope you guys don't mind me pre-gluing some of these paper pieces together. I think it just helps in cutting down the time of the video. So I have my other two panels, one for the front, one for the inside. And we're going to glue those into their parts. That way I'm not gluing, you know, 6 pieces here. I'm only having to glue 1 piece down. So this is the inside. This is my outside piece. And if you see me doing this, I'm just using, by doing it this way, it's helping me line it up. And maybe that's a little tip that can help you as well. But there is our, you could do it either way you wanted. You can open this way or this way. I'm going to have it open, opening to the left. I could have got that on there a little better, but that's all right. It's going to be fine. So I'm going to set that aside, and I'm going to bring in, we have our three pieces of basic white cardstock, and I'm going to give you a look at what we're going to do. The inner piece, this one, is just going to get sponged around the outside with garden green and stamped with cherry cobbler. So let's accomplish that off the bat. So I'm going to remove 2, keeping 1. I'm going to go around the outside. I do want to bring it in a bit more, so I'm just bringing in more surface, keeping my fingers there, my thumb here. It just helps, and I have to move, of course. It helps when you're doing that flicking of it. I want some more of that garden green showing. Now I'm using that whole edge of my hand. Okay, a little bit more down here. All right, I'm going to set that aside, and I need some scratch paper. We will use this one. We're going to open up a very old cherry cobbler pad. Take off my piece, sorry. So I'm just going to stamp in that corner and in this corner on this one. And guess what? We can glue this in its spot because it is done. This is for you to write. You don't need a sentiment on this piece unless you want to, because we're going to have one on the left hand side before you get to the center. And it is, I love these colors together. So that's the inside. We're going to work on this one next. Let me show you again what that's going to look like. Yikes. Maybe if I can. So it is this wishing you abundant joy and peace with the 2 trees. I'm going to set this over here. So I'm going to bring in 1 of my pieces of basic white. I'm going to remove my cherry cobbler for a moment. We're going to need it, but Misty Moonlight. My blending brush, y'all, is covered right now in Starry Sky and needs a good cleaning. So I had to go with a sponge dauber. And I'm loading it up with ink, and then I'm brushing off quite a bit. I want to do soft swirls. Ooh, sorry. We have to stamp the branch first. Otherwise, our branch will be covered in Misty Moonlight, and we don't want that. So early espresso before the Misty Moonlight. So I'm going to ink it all up. I know that I'm putting part of it right here. Oh, that did not work out. So let's try again. Very nice. Oh, very nice. And this one is coming, yes, off of the page. That leaves us a nice spot, and we're going to be using that again. So I'm going to let these go over there. Cover the glue. Now let's try that Misty Moonlight again. So making sure I got, look at all that ink there. So, oh, I need a little piece of scratch paper to cover up my branch. Just like this. And then I'm going to come in and do really soft little swirls, really softly. I mean, barely touching my tree here. So then I'm going to, it's stuck. So there's another one. I have one more little, I have a couple of little strips. This is from me cutting my envelope. So let's see. We're going to make our own little, so we want just a little bit in between there. And I know I'm being kind of picky, but oh, I don't want that to be, let's just go ahead and go around the branches. It's just the main part of my branch. I want to use my blender pen to kind of smear the ink on it, so I don't want a bunch of misty moonlight on there. The less ink you have on your sponge dauber, I think the better it is. I'm just going in real soft swirly motions. Alright, just trying to cover up my branch a bit. So much better when there's not a lot of ink on it. And I'm going to brush in that little bit. So next I'm going to bring in my blending pen. That's the blue I used. What is on this one? Okay, this is the one we're going to use. I'm going to take this and I am rubbing over just that early espresso ink and rubbing it into the branch. I love it. So let's do that again. A little bit right there, just all over our branch. And I'm telling you, this is like a 15, almost 20-year-old blending brush, and it's still working. It was packed up for many years, but I have like 2 or 3 packages of blending brushes, and I'm not opening them until I need them. Alrighty, so it goes this way. We need our sentiment, which is not heaven and nature saying. It's wishing you abundant joy and peace. And we're going to ink that up in Cherry Cobbler. Hopefully I get it. Let's see. Let's move this. Let's try to get the paper straight and maybe I can get the sentiment straight. I'm going to let it sit for just a second. Yay! It worked. It worked. It worked. I'm so happy. Okay, so we're going to move our Misty Moonlight aside. For the Cherry Cobbler, we're going to use our little speckled dots. And we are just adding them around the bottom, top and bottom of our tree. You could have done it in Misty Moonlight, but I like this little adding of the Cherry Cobbler. So I'm going to set that aside. Bring back my garden green sponge dauber and go around the outside edge sponging. And some of you may not think that this makes a difference, but I'm telling you it does. I think I've forgotten how much it really does make a difference until I start adding this little bit of ink to the paper. So that's our inside panel, and we can bring in our card and glue it down. So here it is. Just this alone to me is simple, elegant, and just beautiful. And I almost thought, okay, don't do the bird, just do that. And then I thought, no, I'm doing the card the way I originally had the idea in my head. So, but if you wanted to do just this, a few little red bling accents, it would be just simply gorgeous. So next we're doing this side, and that's our third piece of DSP. Once again, we need that early espresso, and let me cover this up because before we glue this down, we're going to do some work here. So let me show you on the front of our card. we're repeating our branches here and here. We're doing that same, and we're going to add this little extra branch for our birdie because his leg looked a little funny. So I'm going to have to stamp it this way so that I can see where the branch is. I wanted the branch, let me get the paper straight, right there. Beautiful. Ugh. So next I have it way off. Let's see, right about there. Now, how did I do this? Let me show you. I brought my little birdie in and I stamped my little birdie. I'm going to use Early Espresso, and I need to take it off of this so I can really see his little legs. Let's turn him this way. I want his larger of the two little legs, and I want all of his little wings on there, little tail feathers. So I'm putting it right there. This tells me where to stamp the branch. That's all that's for. It just tells me where I need to line up the branch. I'm using a little scratch piece of paper. Okay. Now I'm going to, ooh, I got a little bit more than I wanted to. I don't want any of my branch here. So I'm going to bring it right there. And do you see now? And now there is a little gap. That's what the Early Espresso Stampin' Write marker is for. There is this little gap right here. I'm just going to extend my branch. And you see those little hash lines? We're just going to add some of those in. And you would never known that wasn't how it was supposed to be. Absolutely love it. I mean, I'm telling you, it makes this stamp set, for me being able to do that, it makes it all the better. It's like I can make my own tree, which you could. So I'm taking my blending brush and I'm going to blend in my Early Espresso. Oh, this one is like almost done. Almost done. So there's that, and look how gorgeous that is. Yes. I need to just sit and play with this stamp set now that I'm not so afraid of the bird. All right, so next we're going to go in, we're going to use our little Misty Moonlight sponge dauber, and we are going to color in around our tree. And I got some on my branch, which I didn't mean to, so let's bring this in because I don't really want that on my branch. All right, so now I'm going to turn it this way. I don't mind it going on the bird at all because the bird's going to be covered up. The bird was just so I could figure out where the branch needed to be. That's all. Okay. All right. And go around the birdie. All here. The lighter it is, I'm telling you, I think the better it looks. So, up here now. The little ends there, I don't mind that those got the Misty Moonlight on them. I just don't want it on the entirety of my branch. I want you to see that gorgeous blending of the colors. So that's all there was. We didn't even re-ink that up. So that worked out lovely. Now we're going to bring in our garden green. Didn't need to bring it into camera view. I don't think you guys need it. Look at that. You see how much detail? And it just makes it, oh, it really does just bring it to life. I cannot tell you how much it, to me, just really adds to this. So next is our cherry cobbler. I don't need to bring the stamp in, and we're going to stamp it like so. Just a little bit. We're not going too far up there. We're just adding a little layer of that cherry cobbler accent there. So that's all there is to that. Next we are going to, well, we can glue this onto our card, because now we're going to work on our bird as soon as we get this down. So let's put this. Now, if you were hand delivering this card or putting it on a gift, I would do a pretty belly band and not even put it in an envelope because it is so cute. But let's work on our bird. I take a deep breath, guys, because I just don't know if I can do this right. Okay, so this is my practice bird. This is my other bird. We are going to bring in our Misty Moonlight. Let's do our practice bird first. I tried a lot of things. I want blue here on his wings. So I'm liking the look of that. So let's do that to this, our little birdie that's actually going on here. I want red, blue, and I want to bring in some very pale Cajun Craze. So as you can see, this is lighter, this is getting darker because I'm adding more pressure. I want those tail feathers dark. I want this kind of light. Oh, that's really good. Oh, I'm liking that. So next, let me check the ends. That's the brown end I used, and I want the Cajun Craze for this. I'm going to ink this in on the side. Wipe off a whole lot until it gets really light. And then I'm going to come in and do his feet and his little beak. Now I'm trying to figure out, we're going to add some red in here. What do I want to use for red? I tried doing some old chalks. Ooh, let's get a sponge dauber. I didn't, it's not that I didn't like it, it's just that they're not available. That's real red, that's cherry cobbler. Cherry cobbler, Epad, where are you? So cherry cobbler, we want, wipe that off. We're gonna go ahead and try it. Oh yeah. Okay, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna come in here. We're gonna give him a nice little red breast down here. If this was a dove, my son would say that's the best eaten part of it. Ooh, I really like that. I really, really, really do. Now for the harder part is getting this light. I wanted to use Cajun Craze, but maybe I should do crumb cake. I wanted a lighter head on this bird. So hold on my reach. Let's find crumb cake. Neutrals. Basic gray. What is this? That's soft suede. And I know soft suede is now retired, but there might be enough ink on this dauber to, let's see. This is my test bird. Oh, yeah. Okay. So it's very old. I mean, I don't know how long the ink's been on it, but we're going to rub that on our little birdie. Oh, yes. Okay. And then I'm going to, oh, that works out really, really well. I really like that. I'm going to bring in this, a little streak here. Oh, I love my little birdie. He's so cute. Oh, I had such a hard time with this guy. Okay, so we have Cajun Craze on this. I am going to simply bring that Cajun Craze, if I can get the ink coming off of it. Nope, let's ink it up a little bit more since I took so much off. I just want, oh, that's really dark. Just gonna bring it and drag it over all of those little shaded areas, especially up here. Wiping that off and try to blend that in a little more. Oh, really, really cool. Okay, and next we're gonna swap it over to the other side because that's the Misty Moonlight side. Dab it in the ink. And then I'm gonna come in here and highlight those little areas, which I think should be more little shadows in his feathers. Now I inked it up, and instead of tapping it off, I'm going to come in here where it's really dark and tap it off, and then I'm going to streak it throughout his wings. Going up under there. Yes. I really, really like my bird. Now I've got these to determine, and I don't think I have a red one. So we're going to dip this. We're going to wipe that Cajun Craze off as much as we can. And then dip it in the, yes. All right. So along here, we're just highlighting those little feathers. And I hope you guys, you know, like, she's taking so much time with this, but oh my gosh, is he so cute? I'm so happy with my little bird. I'm really, really happy with my little birdie. He's a sweetheart. And he is gonna go front and center. And we need 3 dimensionals. And one at the head, down by the feet, and on his tail area. And then, oh, he is so sweet. So, so sweet. And you just lay him up top. Look at how sweet he is. Yes. Oh my goodness. Love it. So bling. I already have an idea of what bling I want to use. I want to use these. They're one called Wonderful Gems. You can see I haven't yet to use any of these red ones, but we are going to do that right now. So, oh, do I want to go there, there, and there? No, I want one here, and one here. So this large one's going there. Then I'm going to take the medium one and go there. And take, oh, I guess they're just our large and mediums. And there is our card with just those little 3 red stones. Oh, okay. I'm in love with my little birdie card. I really, really am. It's so adorable. You know what would make this even better is to give it a go with the Wink Estella. Let me get, I want to protect my work surface here. So I've got this case, and I don't know, you can see it splattered with white. So I'm going to put my card like so. I'm going to open my Wink Estella, give it a good push where it says push, and you'll start to see the liquid fill up in here. Then I'm going to take this and hit it. And I want lots on there. I want lots. Oh my gosh, is that gorgeous. Open her up. Spread that deliciousness all over the card. And the inside too. And now it sparkles. Okay. Oh, wow. Okay, put that away. Let's look at that. Can you see all that glistening sparkle? Oh. It's Christmas time. I'm not ready for Christmas by any means. Our envelope. What are we going to do on the envelope? Well, I know for sure I'm not stamping the bird and redoing all of that on the envelope. However, we can bring our sponge dauber. we're doing the garden green. And I'm just going to come in around the edges. Oh yeah, definitely. All around those beautiful edges. And then we're going to bring that cherry cobbler, speckly one, as the top. Oh, we're going to do it. Let's do it all the way over along the bottom. Just like on the inside of the card, we're going to carry those little speckles just along the bottom. Oh, that's it. It doesn't need too much more. That is our envelope. And this is our gorgeous, gorgeous card. Oh, love it. Wishing you abundant joy and peace. And there's plenty to write. You could do photos, like I said. Oh, I love it. I am so, so happy, guys. This little birdie is so much better than that little birdie, okay? Same color idea. Yes! I am so happy. Okay. I thank you guys for watching my YouTube channel, for being there for me and supporting me in this endeavor. More than anything, I have to say thank you. And I want to invite you back to my wonderland. Bye-bye now.